Hello and
Hello.
welcome. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
Greetings.
Thank you. No,
Thank you.
no, thank you.
Thank
I hope that the people who are listening to this know where that's from. Because if you're not, stop listening.
you. Exactly.
Exactly. Know the Marx Brothers.
Otherwise, you've totally
You have no
fallen
place
out of
here. You
favor
have no
in our
place here.
book.
You have no place here.
Yes, none.
Okay. All right. So this is the preview for episode 48, the Lexicon, or how the character of your mind is shaped by your language. So I'm going to read briefly the piece, which I'm going to read a larger portion from on Saturday. We do not attempt, this is from The Aims of Education, Alfred North Whitehead. We do not attempt, in the strict sense, to prove or disprove anything unless its importance makes it worthy of that honor. Now, ponder that because I think this is one of the most profound and important statements in the entire piece. Maybe I found this something that kind of like I found a depth in it, which is kind of part of the piece of most people read the kind of read Whitehead's Aims of Education as a kind of like as a kind of a textbook or kind of like a tutorial rather than a kind of a warning or a kind of premonition. And I think part of that is the fact that, a lot of people don't understand in the enumerations by Whitehead, he doesn't give you a prescription. He said, this is what worked for these people in this time, or this is what we saw was of consequence in this case. It may or may not apply, but it is the case and may have had some consequence.
Would you classify Whitehead as cautionary literature or not?
I'd say it's kind of like when you kind of see someone who's about to kind of partake on a great adventure,
Mhm.
who kind of just kind of like gives a certain sense of like have your wits about you. I mean,
Mhm.
he like us loved the adventure of the mind. I mean, he was an adventurous mind, and we'll talk about. I think we have like coming up. Um, let's see, where was it? Yes,
Soon.
the beauty for okay. In January 11th, we have the beauty of original ideas, which was your title, which is beautiful,
Thank you.
and then I have the nature of the adventurous mind on the 18th of January. But anyway, we'll start by talking about the lexicon. These next two pieces, the lexicon and the reader, pertain to the idea that who you are is very much demonstrated in the terms that you craft to express yourself, as well as those things that you go back to as your basis in terms of the things that you read. So they're both different perspectives on the same idea of how to express the character of an adventurous mind. I mean, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I think that we're in a time where understanding of the existence of a personal lexicon is in peril, and the ability of people to craft or create their own lexicon is in peril, which goes right to our broadcast on copying and
Mm,
plagiarism and imitation is, and I will stress this, plagiarizing or imitating or copying with the intent to deceive is not crafting your own lexicon. There is no such thing as a stolen or appropriated lexicon because it's not your lexicon.
mm, mm-hmm,
And there are many, many
mm,
people who purport to have a complex and intriguing
mm-hmm.
lexicon who really don't.
No, it's true. I think that one of the
Yeah, I
things
think
I've
it's
always
very,
found is that
very key.
is this
Yeah.
kind of like sense of kind of like the overextension of a word. I mean, I remember, like where someone basic. I always feel it's a courtesy to the individual to use the most understandable term rather than the most kind of pompous term. And I think the idea is to kind of like speak in simple language. And when a certain term is necessary, it's necessary because of its specificity. And I think too many people elevate their language. to go back to this, I want to talk about, you raised up an interesting point. I want to go into this because
Sure.
I thought about that, just thinking about this now,
Hmm.
is that when you talk about the idea of why something is under siege at this point, I think the idea of genius and of consequence is always under siege. But maybe we should talk about what is the nature of the imperilment at this point, because I think
Yeah.
that is a specific case that may actually have some value to kind of discuss. So what we'll be talking about is kind of like the languages that we've crafted for us to basically kind of like express the nature of our imaginations, and the way in which that's a necessary way to kind of understand the character of an individual.
Hmm.
All right. Anything, last words?
Yeah. I would say that one might find, and this is very different from the imperiled or plagiarized lexicon, one might look to, I'd say, a tutorial source of lexicons. I think many people have trouble finding their own sense of linguistic self, that they do not know where to place
Mm-hmm.
themselves in the web of greater thought, in the universe, in the narrative, and therefore they are adrift in terms of finding, crafting, maintaining, and nurturing
Mm.
their own
Mm.
lexicons, which is very key because your lexicon is the manifestation ideologically, conceptually, linguistically of who you are
Yes.
internally.
Yes.
And I would urge people who are adrift, and I see this quite a lot,
Mm-hmm.
to look to literary sources, not to copy, not to lift it out and
Mm-hmm.
pretend it's self generated, but to use it as a frisket or
Mm.
template,
Right.
to actually use, instances of the lexicon. And there are many in great writers whom you might admire,
Mm-hmm.
as I said, as a template or frisket. Now, the beauty of a template or frisket is you are not trying to pass it off as your own. You are using it as
Mm-hmm.
a guide to craft something marvelous.
Yeah. Craft your own tools.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is,
Yeah.
like, you think about the fact that,
Craft your
like,
own
your
lexicon.
words
Yeah.
not only are chosen, but they're constructed based on your needs for them to fit ideas within your mind.
Yeah.
So the idea is, I mean, in case like two words that are really kind of important to both of us, one is process, the other is the metaphor.
Yeah.
I have seen my construction of my understanding of those terms change over the course of my life and become richer, deeper, and more meaningful.
Mhm.
So I feel as if like that's very important. It's not just a question of choosing words. It's basically understanding why a word is chosen, and then basically kind of honing it, just the same way that artists would make their own brushes, make their own pencils, find ways to make their tools specific. The words you use are the tools you use to express the ideas that are the most important to you. So I think in that case, that's something that's vitally, vitally important. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, just in this couple of minutes, I mean, we've already ran into 8 minutes, and it's like we could easily kind of talk about this
Because
topic
what
now.
we're saying is vital.
To us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, of
exactly.
course.
So anyway, so
Okay.
that's the preview
Yes.
of this upcoming discussion on
It's lip
lexicon.
smacking, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So the realm of
Mhm.
ideas is free to all, and it's to the benefit of all for us to maintain this. Okay, we'll see you Sunday morning. Bye.
Bye.